Commander June Park stood at the large window of Earth's only space defense station. He looked out at the blue planet below. At 32 years old, he was young for his job. His black uniform fit well on his tall frame. The golden patch on his chest showed Earth's symbol, a blue circle with a white leaf on it. 6 decades had passed since the aliens called the Taviri had come to Earth. They had saved humans from a huge rock from space that would have killed everyone. But that help came with a price. A big price. Another day watching our prison, June said to himself. He touched the cold glass. From up here, Earth looked peaceful, but he knew better. The door slid open behind him. Lieutenant Hana Kim walked in holding a data pad. Her usual calm face looked worried today. "Commander, we have a message from Central," she said. Hana was smart and capable. June trusted her more than anyone else on the station. The yearly payment to the Taviri is due in 2 days. The miners on Mars say they're 30% short. June felt his stomach tighten. The Taviri didn't take excuses. They had seen what happened to planets that didn't pay, smoking holes where cities used to be. "What about our backup supplies?" June asked, already knowing the answer. "We used them last year when we were short," Hana replied. She brushed her short black hair from her eyes. "And there's something else. Science team has spotted Taviri ships coming our way. They're early this year." June walked to the main control desk. The payment screen showed the numbers in red. Earth needed to give the Taviri 1 million tons of rare metals. The mining colonies on Mars had only 700,000 tons ready. "Tell the mining boss to work his people around the clock," June ordered. "And tell Earth governments to gather whatever metals they have. We need to make this payment." "Yes, sir," Hana nodded, but they both knew it wouldn't be enough. The big screen on the wall showed Earth's pitiful defenses. 10 small fighter ships, 3 medium patrol vessels, and this one station. Against the Taviri ships, they were like toys. The Treaty of Salvation, as the Taviri called it, kept Earth weak. Humans could not build better ships, could not make better weapons, could not even leave the solar system, all while giving the Taviri whatever they wanted. "Some salvation," June muttered. A young technician burst through the door without knocking. His face was pale, his eyes wide. "Commander Park, sir, we found something strange," the tech shouted. His name tag read Kim Do-ha. He was just 20, fresh from Earth's training program. "Calm down, Do-ha," June said firmly. "What did you find?" "A new object, sir. Very big. It just appeared beyond Pluto's path." Do-ha held up his data pad with shaking hands. "And sir, it's not Taviri, not at all." June grabbed the pad. The screen showed a massive object moving into the solar system. The computer said it was nearly as big as Earth's moon. "That's impossible," Hana whispered, looking over June's shoulder. "Nothing that big can move that fast." "The Taviri ships have changed course," another officer called from a monitoring station. "They're heading toward the object." June felt a strange mix of hope and fear. In 60 years, no one had challenged the Taviri, no one could. Their technology was too advanced. But this new ship, if it was a ship, was doing things even the Taviri couldn't do. "Send a message to Earth's United Command," June ordered. "Priority 1, and get me all the data on this object." "Sir," Do-ha said, his voice smaller now. "There's one more thing. The object is slowing down. It's coming to a stop at the edge of our system. It's like it's being careful not to scare us." June raised an eyebrow. "The Taviri have never cared about scaring us." On Earth, in the hidden underground quantum observatory in Korea, Dr. Taewon Lee adjusted his glasses as he studied the incoming data. At 58, his hair had gone gray at the temples, but his mind remained sharp. "Sue, are you seeing this?" he called to his wife and research partner. Dr. Sue Park looked up from her own screen. At 54, she had the energy of someone much younger. She walked over to her husband's station. "The energy readings are off the charts," she said, eyes widening. "This object, it's artificial. It has to be. But the size..." Taewon shook his head. "And look at how it moves. It's like it ignores physics. Their lab was illegal. The Taviri didn't allow humans to have technology this advanced, but over the years, a secret network of scientists had built equipment in hidden places around the world. They studied, they learned, and they hoped one day to find a way to break free. The Taviri ships are approaching it, Sue noted, pointing to blips on the screen. 5 of their best warships. Let's hope they don't start a war we'll get punished for, Taewon said grimly. A soft beep came from their communication system, then another, then dozens more. What's happening? Sue asked, rushing to check. It's a signal, Taewon said, his voice filled with wonder. A signal bypassing all Taviri controls. It's going to every device on Earth at once. Their old television screen on the wall flickered to life. Neither of them had turned it on. A woman's face appeared on the screen. She looked human, clearly, of Korean descent with features that reminded Taewon of his own mother. She wore a uniform they didn't recognize. Behind her was what looked like the bridge of a ship, but more advanced than anything they'd ever seen. People of Earth, the woman said in perfect, clear Korean. The subtitles at the bottom scrolled in multiple languages. I am Admiral Mina Kang of the Earth Expeditionary Fleet. We represent the descendants of the Exodus ships that left Earth, in secret during the chaos of 2091. We have returned to pay our debt to the homeworld. Sue grabbed Taewon's hand and squeezed it hard. We did not forget what you sacrificed so we could escape. Admiral Kang continued. While you endured servitude, we built strength in the stars. Today, humanity's debt will be settled. Back on the defense station, Jun and his crew watched the same message. Then they watched something even more amazing. The massive ship, the screen now showed it was named EEF Remembrance, deployed a glowing blue shield. The 5 Taviri warships fired their weapons, the same weapons that had destroyed entire cities. On Earth, when humans first resisted, the blue shield absorbed every blast like it was nothing. Impossible, Hana whispered. Sir, Doha called out, his voice trembling with excitement rather than fear now. We're getting a direct transmission from the Remembrance, for you, personally. Jun nodded, and Doha put it on the main screen. Admiral. Mina Kang looked directly at him. Commander Park, I would like to invite you and Lieutenant Kim aboard our vessel. We have much to discuss about Earth's future. Jun looked at Hana, who seemed as shocked as he felt. How do they know our names? She asked quietly. On the screen, Admiral Kang smiled as if she had heard the question. We've been watching for longer than you think, Lieutenant. We needed to be sure the time was right. Jun straightened his back and made the biggest decision of his life. We accept your invitation, Admiral. Earth has waited long enough. As the main screen showed the Taviri ships retreating from the human vessel, Jun felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Jun and Hana sat in the small shuttle as it flew toward the massive ship. Neither had spoken much since leaving Earth's defense station. What could they say? Everything they knew had just changed. Look at the size of it, Hana finally said, pointing at the EEF Remembrance. Up close, it was even more impressive. The ship was smooth and curved, unlike the sharp, angular Taviri vessels. It glowed with a soft blue light. It's bigger than any city on Earth, Jun agreed. Their shuttle was now just a tiny dot next to the giant ship. A voice came through their speaker. Commander Park, Lieutenant Kim, we're bringing you into Docking Bay 7. Please remain seated. The shuttle passed through an opening in the side of the giant ship. The docking bay inside could have held 50 shuttles like theirs. People in uniforms moved around with purpose. Everything looked clean, advanced, and well organized. When the shuttle door opened, cool air rushed in. It smelled fresh, not stale like on Earth's station. A woman waited for them at the bottom of the ramp. She wore the same uniform they had seen Admiral Kang wearing on the screen, but with fewer marks on the shoulder. Welcome aboard the Remembrance. I'm Captain Sun, she said with a small bow. Admiral Kang is waiting for you. Jun and Hana followed, Captain Sun through wide hallways. The walls were white with blue lights. People nodded respectfully as they passed. All of them looked to be of Korean descent, just like Admiral Kang. Your crew? Hana started looking around. Captain Sun smiled. Yes, On this ship, we are all descendants of those who left from Korea. The Remembrance is just one of 17 vessels in our fleet. Each represents different Earth cultures preserved by the Exodus. They entered a lift that moved not just up and down, but sideways too. When the doors opened again, they stepped onto the bridge. It was nothing like the cramped command center of Earth Station. This room was large and open. A huge window showed the stars and Earth in the distance. At least 30 people worked at different stations, but it wasn't noisy. Everything seemed calm and efficient. Admiral Mina Kang stood in the center. She was shorter than June had expected, maybe in her late 40s with streaks of gray in her black hair. But her eyes were sharp and missed nothing. "Commander Park, Lieutenant Kim," she said, stepping forward to greet them. "Welcome to the future of humanity." Back on Earth, Dr. Tae-won and his wife Sue were not the only ones watching the events unfold. In the United Command Center in the Bir, old city of Seoul, world leaders had gathered in emergency session. The Taviri representative, a tall alien with blue-tinted skin named Zeth Lar, demanded answers. Who are these humans? How did they acquire this technology? This violates all terms of the Treaty of Salvation, he shouted at the human leaders. President Han of the Asian Alliance stood up. She was small in size, but strong in spirit. "We know, as little as you do, Representative Zethlar. These humans claim to be descendants of ships that left Earth 60 years ago." "Impossible," the Taviri hissed. "No ships escaped Earth's system. We would have known." A screen on the wall lit up. Admiral Kang's face appeared, making Zethlar step back in surprise. "Actually, Representative, 17 ships escaped during the 3 days of chaos when your fleet was dealing with the asteroid fragments," Admiral Kang said calmly. "While you were focused on saving Earth and setting up your terms of service, we slipped away." The room went quiet. Zethlar's blue skin turned almost white. "The collective will not stand for this," he finally said. "You will surrender your ships and technology immediately." Admiral Kang smiled. It was not a warm smile. "I don't think you understand the situation. We're not asking for permission. We're here to free our homeworld." On the Remembrance, June and Hana sat in Admiral Kang's private meeting room. The walls displayed moving images of forests and mountains from Earth, places that had been destroyed by Taviri mining operations. "How?" June asked simply. "How did you build all this? The Taviri technology is hundreds of years ahead of ours." Admiral Kang poured them tea from a simple pot. The cups were made of clay, like ones June's grandmother had used. "That's what they wanted you to believe," she said. "The Taviri aren't as advanced as they pretend to be. Their technology has barely changed in 300 years. But the weapons, the ships," Hana started, "are impressive only to those who aren't allowed to advance," Kang finished for her. "The truth is that Taviri don't innovate, they conquer and control. They find species just entering their space age, save them from some disaster, often one they created, and then lock them into service." She tapped a small device on the table. A hologram appeared, showing a map of the galaxy. Hundreds of stars glowed red. "Each red light is a world under Taviri control," she explained. "Over 40 different species, all serving the collective, all believing they're too weak to resist." "And you found a way to advance beyond them," June said, understanding. Now Mina nodded. "When our ships left Earth, we had no plan except survival. We traveled for years before finding a place to hide. Then we met others, refugees from other worlds who had also escaped Taviri control. We shared knowledge, we worked together, and, most importantly, we were free to innovate." "Why come back now?" Hana asked. "After 60 years? Because now we can win," Mina said simply. "And because Earth has suffered enough." Dr. Tae-won and Sue had been brought to the United Command Center as well. As Earth's leading scientists, even if they worked in secret, they were needed now. A young man in a diaspora uniform approached them. His name tag read Jin Young. "Dr. Lee, Dr. Park," he said with a respectful bow. "I'm the Chief Science Officer from the EEF Discovery, another ship in our fleet. Admiral Kang asked me to share these with you." He handed them a small crystal device that fit in Taewon's palm. What is it? Sue asked, examining it closely. Everything, Jin replied with a smile. Medical advances that will cure most diseases on Earth. Clean energy systems that can be built with your current technology. And defense systems that will allow Earth to protect itself. Taewon's hands trembled. This would advance Earth by centuries. Yes. Jin nodded. And we need your help to implement it quickly. The Taviri won't sit idle for long. As if on cue, alarms sounded throughout the building. On the main screen, dozens of Taviri ships appeared, jumping into the solar system one after another. President Han rushed into the room. The Taviri Collective has issued an ultimatum. They demand the diaspora ships surrender immediately. If they refuse, the Taviri will reset Earth's civilization. Reset? Sue asked, confused. Taewon's face went pale. They'll bomb us back to the Stone Age, or worse. Jin did not look worried. He touched his communication device. Admiral, it seems the Taviri are making threats again. Shall we proceed to Phase 2? Admiral Kang's voice came through clearly. Yes, it's time to show them what happens when humanity owes you a debt and decides to pay it back with interest. On the bridge of the Remembrance, June and Hana watched as 16 more ships appeared near the first one. Each was different in design but just as impressive as the Remembrance. The Diaspora Fleet, Admiral Kang said with pride. 17 ships, 17 cultures of Earth, preserved and advanced. United in one goal, freedom. The main screen showed nearly 200 Taviri ships approaching. They looked threatening, their weapons ports open. June felt his old fear returning. That's their main battle fleet. Even with your technology, Admiral Kang placed a hand on his shoulder. Commander Park, you've lived under their shadow too long. Watch what happens when humanity stands tall. She turned to her crew. Activate the quantum field. A crew member pressed a series of controls. Outside, a wave of light spread from the diaspora ships, passing harmlessly through Earth and its station but engulfing the approaching Taviri fleet. One by one, the Taviri ships went dark, their engines shutting down, their weapons going silent. What did you do? Hana asked in amazement. We turned off their toys, Admiral Kang said with a smile, and now we talk. The main meeting room on the Remembrance was silent. On one side of the large table sat Admiral Kang, Commander June, Lieutenant Hana, and 2 other diaspora officers. On the other side sat 3 Taviri representatives, including High Commander Zenth, the leader of their battle fleet. The Taviri no longer looked mighty. Without their weapons and with their ships floating helpless in space, they had no choice but to talk. This is a violation of the Treaty of Salvation, High Commander Zenth said. His blue skin had dark patches showing his stress. Earth belongs to the collective. Earth belongs to humans, Admiral Kang replied calmly. The treaty was never valid. You created the danger, then offered to save us if we became your slaves. June looked at the Taviri with new eyes. All his life he had feared these aliens. Now they seemed smaller, weaker. What do you mean they created the danger? Hana asked. Young Jin, the diaspora's chief strategist, touched a control on the table. A hologram appeared, showing the asteroid that had threatened Earth 60 years ago. This is from our records, Jin explained. The asteroid that was going to hit Earth didn't appear naturally. It was moved into Earth's path by Taviri ships. The hologram showed small ships pushing the giant rock. June felt sick as he watched. That's how the Taviri operate, Admiral Kang said. They find developing worlds, create a disaster, then offer to save the planet in exchange for service. They've done it to 47 species. High Commander Zenth's face showed no shame. Primitive. Species need guidance. Structure. The collective brings order to the galaxy. You bring slavery, Jin countered, and your empire is built on lies. On Earth, Dr. Taewon and Sue worked with scientists from around the world. The crystal Jin had given them contained more knowledge than humans had gathered in 1,000 years. This energy system, Sue said, pointing to diagrams on a screen. We can build it with materials we already have. It would give clean power to every home on Earth. Taewon nodded, his fingers moving quickly over another screen. And these medical procedures, they could be implemented next week. No more cancer, no more heart disease. A young scientist named Min looked up from her station. The defense plans are amazing. Simple shields that could protect our cities from any Taviri weapon. President Han watched from the doorway. Hope showed on her tired face. How quickly can we build these? With global cooperation, weeks for the most important systems, Taewon answered. Months for the rest. We have the diaspora to thank for. This, Sue said. They could have left us behind forever. Instead, they came back. President Han's communication device beeped. It was a direct line to the Remembrance. The Taviri High Council is sending their main diplomatic vessel to Earth, she told the scientists after listening to the message. They want to renegotiate the treaty. Min laughed, a sound rarely heard in the command center. They mean they want to beg. Back on the Remembrance, June and Hana were given a full tour of the ship by Captain Sun. What they saw amazed them. This garden provides fresh food for the entire ship, Captain Sun explained as they walked through a massive room filled with plants, trees, and even small animals. The air smelled sweet and clean. Everything is connected in a natural cycle. Earth Station, we only have dried food packages from the Taviri, Hana said. They taste like cardboard. Captain Sun nodded sadly. The Taviri keep their subject species dependent, even for basic needs like food. They continued to the education center where children of all ages learned in bright, open rooms. You have families here? June asked, watching a group of young children singing together. Of course, Captain Sun replied. This isn't just a ship, it's our home. Some families have lived here for 3 generations. A small girl, maybe 7 years old, approached them with curious eyes. Are you from Earth? She asked June. He knelt down to her level. Yes, I am. She smiled brightly. My great-grandmother was from Earth. She told my grandmother so many stories, and my grandmother told my mother, and my mother told me. Is it true you can see the ocean from the mountains? June felt his throat tighten. Yes, in some places. It's beautiful. I want to see it someday, the girl said before running back to her friends. Captain Sun watched her go with a soft expression. That's why we came back, so the children could know their ancestral home, so all humans could be free. In the ship's command center, Admiral Kang showed June and Hana the true scope of their mission. The Taviri Collective controls this region of the galaxy, she said, pointing to a large section of the star map. 47 worlds, all in service to them. But they're not the only power out here. The map shifted, showing other colored sections. Found allies among these other groups, Kang continued. Species who believe in cooperation, not control. They helped us advance our technology, and we've helped them in return. Why would they help humans? Hana asked. We were nothing to them. Jin, who had joined them, smiled. Because humans have something special. Creativity, adaptability. We solve problems in ways other species don't think of. In 60 years, we've contributed more innovations to our allies than the Taviri have in centuries. Admiral Kang nodded. The Taviri fear change. They suppress innovation to maintain control, but progress can't be stopped forever. A communication officer approached them. Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from other worlds in the collective. The quantum field information packets we sent are being downloaded. 7 worlds have already disabled their Taviri control systems. Kang's eyes showed satisfaction. And so it begins. The next morning, June stood at the window of his guest quarters on the Remembrance. Earth looked different from here. Not like a prison, but like a jewel. His door chimed, and Hana entered. Her face was bright with excitement. June, you need to see this, she said, forgetting formal titles in her hurry. The Taviri diplomatic ship just arrived in Earth orbit, but it's not alone. They rushed to the command center. The main screen showed the Taviri ship, sleek and decorated with the symbols of their High Council. But behind it, At a distance were 5 ships of completely different designs. "Who are they?" June asked. Admiral Kang smiled. "Our allies. Representatives from the 5 Systems Alliance. They've come to witness the new treaty." "New treaty?" Hana asked. "Yes," Kang replied. "The Treaty of Liberation. Earth will take its rightful place among free worlds, and the Taviri will learn what happens when you enslave a species that never forgets its debts." Jin approached with a formal uniform in his hands. It matched the diaspora design but had Earth's symbol on the shoulder. "Commander Park," Jin said formally. "Earth needs a representative at the treaty signing. Admiral Kang believes you should have that honor." June took the uniform with shaking hands. "I'm just a station commander." "No," Admiral Kang said firmly. "You're the first of a new generation of free humans. The past ends today. The future begins with you." As June changed into the new uniform, he thought about the small girl who wanted to see Earth's oceans and mountains. Thanks to the diaspora, she would get that chance. All humans would have a chance at a better future. The debt humanity owed was being paid in the most unexpected way. With freedom. The Grand Hall of the United Command Center in Seoul had been quickly transformed for the treaty meeting. Long tables formed a circle in the center. Flags from Earth nations hung on the walls alongside new symbols representing the diaspora ships and their alien allies. June felt strange in his new uniform as he sat next to President Han. Across from them, the Taviri High Council members looked tense and unhappy. Their chief negotiator, Supreme Director Kelth, kept touching the translator device at his throat. "We are prepared to offer new terms," Kelth announced. His voice was smooth, but his eyes were cold. "The collective will reduce Earth's tribute by 30%. We will allow limited technology advancement, and we will permit one colony beyond Mars." President Han didn't respond. Instead, she looked at June. This was his moment. June stood up slowly. The room went quiet. "The people of Earth reject your offer," he said clearly. "We don't want new terms. We want freedom." Kelth's blue skin darkened with anger. "You forget your place, human. The collective controls this sector. Your diaspora friends are impressive, but they are few. Our full armada numbers in the thousands." Admiral Kang, sitting at another part of the circle, smiled slightly. "Are you sure about that, Supreme Director?" She nodded to Jin, who activated a large screen on the wall. It showed live feeds from dozens of worlds. On each world, people of different species were disabling Taviri control systems. Some celebrated in the streets. Others were taking over Taviri buildings. 47 worlds, Kang said calmly. All receiving the same message today. All learning how simple it is to disable your technology. Your empire is falling, Supreme Director. Not by force, but by truth. Kelth stood up suddenly, knocking over his chair. "This is rebellion. The collective will crush all who defy us." A new voice spoke from the doorway. "No, you won't." Everyone turned to see Dr. Taewon and Sue entering. They carried a small device between them. "This is a quantum shield generator," Taewon explained, setting the device on the table. "As of this morning, every major city on Earth has one. Your weapons cannot penetrate these shields." "Impossible," one of the Taviri scientists hissed. "That technology is beyond humans," Sue smiled. "Not anymore. We've been busy while you've been talking." High above Earth, the Taviri battle fleet had regained some power. Their communication systems worked again. Their engines were starting to function, but their weapons remained offline. On the command ship, High Commander Zenth received a message from Supreme Director Kelth. "The negotiations are failing. Prepare to demonstrate our power." Zenth looked at his weapons officer. "Status?" "Weapons are still disabled on all ships," the officer reported. "Engineering says the quantum field has changed something in the core systems. They don't understand how to fix it." Zenth slammed his fist on his chair. "Then we will use the old ways. Set collision course for their main ship, the Remembrance. We'll show them the collective cannot be defied." His navigation officer hesitated. "Sir, that would kill everyone aboard this ship." For the collective, any sacrifice is worthy, Zenth replied coldly. Do it. Back in the meeting hall, Jin received an alert on his device. His face became serious as he whispered to Admiral Kang. She nodded and stood up. Supreme Director, your commander has just ordered his ship to ram the Remembrance. Is this how the mighty collective negotiates? With suicide attacks? Kelth's face showed surprise, then quick calculation. The collective preserves order by any means necessary. June felt a cold fear. There are children on that ship. Regrettable, Kelth said without emotion. But perhaps now you understand our resolve. President Han looked disgusted. This is who you are. You claim to bring order, but you bring only destruction. Admiral Kang touched her communication device. Captain Sun, activate Defense Protocol 3. On the screen, they could see the Taviri command ship accelerating toward the Remembrance, but before it could get close, a shimmering field appeared around the diaspora vessel. The Taviri ship hit the field and stopped completely. It didn't crash. It didn't break apart. It simply stopped moving, floating harmlessly in space. Inertial dampening field, Kang explained. Another technology your collective has suppressed. It negates kinetic energy. Kelth stood up again, his composure breaking. You will regret this defiance. The collective has means beyond ships and weapons. You mean like these? A new voice joined the conversation as the doors opened again. 5 beings entered the hall. They looked nothing like humans or Taviri. One had 4 arms and golden skin. Another floated above the ground. A third was tall and plant-like. The other 2 had features unlike anything June had seen before. Jin bowed to them respectfully. The representatives of the 5 Systems Alliance have arrived. The golden-skinned being spoke, its voice translated by a small device. The Alliance recognizes Earth as a free world and welcomes humanity as potential members. The Taviri delegation went completely still. Supreme Director Kelth slowly sat down. The 5 Systems Alliance, he said quietly. You allied with them? Yes, Admiral Kang confirmed. And they have witnessed everything today. Your threats, your attempted suicide attack, your admission that you created the asteroid threat to enslave Earth. The plant-like being moved forward. Its voice sounded like rustling leaves. The collective's actions violate the Galactic Compact of Non-Interference. The Alliance formally censures the Taviri collective. Now real fear showed on Kelth's face. The compact is just a formality. No, the floating being replied. It is law. Law that even the collective must follow, or face isolation from all trade and communication with Alliance worlds. June watched as the balance of power shifted before his eyes. The mighty Taviri, who had controlled Earth for 60 years, now looked small and weak. President Han spoke firmly. Here are our terms. The Taviri collective will withdraw all forces from Earth's solar system. All tribute demands are cancelled. Earth reclaims its full independence. And, Admiral Kang added, the collective will pay reparations to Earth for 60 years of exploitation. Kelth's face showed defeat. The collective cannot agree to such terms. The golden-skinned Alliance representative placed a device on the table. Then the Alliance will implement a complete embargo on all Taviri worlds effective immediately. Your economy will collapse within 1 standard year. After a long silence, Kelth touched his communication device. He spoke quietly in the Taviri language, then turned back to the table. The High Council. He paused, the words clearly painful. The High Council accepts your terms. June felt a wave of emotion wash over him. Freedom. After 60 years, humanity was free again. Hana, who had been standing against the wall, came to his side. Is it really over? She whispered. No, June replied, watching as the treaty documents were prepared. It's just beginning. The floating alliance being approached them. Commander Park, Lieutenant Kim, your species has impressed us. In 60 years, your diaspora has accomplished what others take centuries to achieve. We had good teachers, June replied. And a good reason to learn quickly. Freedom, the being agreed, the greatest motivation of all. As the treaty was signed, June thought about the debt humanity had owed. The Taviri had expected eternal servitude. Instead, they got something they never imagined. They got humanity unleashed. 1 year after the Treaty of Liberation, Earth was a changed world. The old United Command Center in Seoul had become the new Galactic Cooperation Center. Ships from many worlds now visited Earth freely, bringing trade, knowledge, and friendship. June stood on the balcony of the center, looking out at the city. New buildings with beautiful designs reached toward the sky. Clean energy systems gave power to everyone. The air was cleaner than it had been in a century. Enjoying the view, Ambassador Park? Hana asked as she joined him. Her new uniform matched his, dark blue with silver trim and Earth symbol on the shoulder. Still getting used to that title, June admitted with a smile. Sometimes I wake up thinking I'm back on the defense station. Well, you're not, Hana said firmly. You're Earth's first galactic ambassador and you're doing a good job. Below them, a group of children played in a park that had once been a Taviri control center. Some of the children were from Earth. Others were from the diaspora ships. They played together without caring about where they came from. The diaspora, children are adapting well, June noted. Hana nodded. Many families have decided to live on Earth. Others visit regularly. The ships have become like traveling cities, connecting Earth to the rest of the galaxy. A small alert sounded from June's communication device. The meeting is about to start, he said. Let's not be late. The main hall of the center was filled with representatives from Earth, the diaspora, and several alien worlds. At the center table sat Admiral Kang, now serving as the head of Earth's new space fleet. Beside her was President Han and representatives from the Five Systems Alliance. Dr. Taewon and Sue sat at a side table with other scientists. They had been busy this past year, helping to implement the new technologies across Earth. Today marks 1 year since our liberation, President Han began. 1 year since humanity reclaimed its rightful place among the stars. And what a year it has been. Screens around the room showed images from around the world. New cities rising, green energy systems powering homes and factories, schools teaching children about the wider galaxy, hospitals where once deadly diseases were now easily cured. Our first task was healing our world, President Han continued. Thanks to diaspora technology and help from our alliance friends, we have made great progress. Earth is healthier now than it has been in centuries. Admiral Kang stood up next. The second task was securing our freedom. Earth's defense system is now complete. 17 orbital platforms protect our world, using the same technology that defeated the Taviri fleet. June remembered how the Taviri ships had left Earth's system a year ago. Not as proud conquerors, but as defeated bullies forced to make peace. But our most important task, Admiral Kang said, has been helping others. The screens changed to show other worlds, planets that had been under Taviri control. On each world, humans worked alongside local species, helping them build the same systems that had freed Earth. Humanity remembers its debt, Kang said solemnly. Not just to those who helped us, but to all who suffer under oppression. That is why Earth has joined the Liberation Initiative. Jin, now serving as the head of the initiative, explained their work to the assembly. The Taviri controlled 47 worlds. So far, 39 have claimed their independence. The remaining 8 are receiving our help now. The golden-skinned Alliance representative spoke next. The Alliance is impressed by humanity's approach. Where we might have sought revenge, you have chosen to heal and help. This confirms our decision to invite Earth to join the Alliance as a full member. A murmur of excitement passed through the room. Full membership in the Five Systems Alliance, soon to be the Six Systems Alliance, would bring even more benefits to Earth. We accept this honor, President Han said with a deep bow. Earth will be a worthy member. As the formal part of the meeting ended, people broke into smaller groups for discussion. June found himself standing with Dr. Taewon near a window overlooking The city. Did you ever imagine this? June asked the older scientist. When you were working in your hidden lab, did you think we would come this far? Taewon smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. I hoped, he said simply. Hope was all we had for a long time. Now we have much more. Sue joined them, carrying a data pad. The new medical center in Africa is ready to open, she reported happily. It will serve 10 million people who never had proper care before. And the Mars colony? June asked. Thriving, Sue replied. 5,000 people living comfortably where once there were only suffering miners. And they're planning the first settlement on Europa next year. That evening, a celebration was held in the city's Central Park. People from Earth and the diaspora gathered with their alien allies under the stars. Food from many worlds was shared. Music from different cultures filled the air. June found Admiral Kang watching the celebration from a quiet spot. Not joining. The party? He asked. She smiled. I'm enjoying it from here. Seeing everyone together. It's what we dreamed of during those long years away. You could have stayed away, June noted. Built your own civilization far from the Taviri. We could have, Kang agreed. But Earth is our home, all humanity's home. We couldn't abandon it. A small girl ran up to them, the same child June had met on the Remembrance a year ago. She now lived on Earth with her family. Ambassador Park, she said excitedly. My mother took me to see the ocean yesterday, and I could see the mountains from the beach just like in the stories. June knelt down to her level. Did you like it? It was the most beautiful thing ever, she said, her eyes wide. Thank you for helping make Earth free so I could see it. After she ran back to play with her friends, Kang spoke softly. That's why we came back. For her. For all the children. For the future. Later that night, June stood on the roof of his apartment building. The stars looked different to him now. Not distant and unreachable, but full of possibilities. Earth ships now traveled regularly to other systems. Humans were welcomed as friends and allies throughout the galaxy. Hana joined him, carrying 2 cups of tea. Thinking deep thoughts, Ambassador? Thinking about debts, June replied, accepting the tea. The Taviri thought we owed them everything. They expected us to serve them forever. Instead, we found another way to pay our debt, Hana said. Yes, June nodded. When someone thinks you owe them, they expect you to be weak. To follow their rules. They never expect you to become stronger than they are. Above them, the EF Remembrance passed overhead, its lights making a bright path across the night sky. It would soon leave on a mission to help the last worlds under Taviri control, claim their freedom. The unthinkable happened, June said, raising his cup in a small toast to the ship. Humanity didn't just free itself, we're helping free the galaxy. Hana smiled and raised her cup too. And that's a debt worth paying. Below them, the city lights shone brightly in the darkness. Earth was healing. Humanity was united. And the stars were waiting. The debt had been paid. The unthinkable had happened. And it was only the beginning.